Late, 6 minutes late, but welcome to the March 16th Lakewood City Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Anderson.
Present.
Bullock.
Here.
Juris.
Here.
Madigan.
Here.
Marks. Here. Nowlin. O'Leary.
Here.
Move to excuse the absence of Councilman Vice President of Council Ryan Nowlin.
Second.
On that motion, is there discussion? I will happily announce on behalf of the Ryan and the Nowlin children and Ryan and his wife, they are the proud parents of a baby girl. And everybody's doing well, so he has more than an excused absence. Is there further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Reading and disposal of the minutes of the regular meeting of council held February 17th, 2015.
Move to adopt without the necessity of a reading.
Second.
On that motion, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And the ayes have it.
Reading and disposal of the minutes of the regular meeting of council held March 2nd, 2016.
Move to adopt without the necessity of a reading.
Second.
On that motion, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes. Move to defer the minutes of March 2nd, 2016.
Second.
On that motion, is there discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes. Without objection from my colleagues, we're going to switch the order of tonight's meeting around just a little bit. I would like to bring forth item number 22, communication from Councilman Juris.
Item 22, communication from Councilmember Juris regarding St. Edward's football.
Councilman Juris.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear members of council, tonight I again have the opportunity and pleasure to recognize a group of our student athletes from St. Edward's High School. On December 6th, the Eagles defeated Huber Heights Wayne to earn the distinction of state champions. While their first football state championship was won in 2010, to add a second in just 4 years is truly impressive. Congratulations to the gentlemen of this squad and the coaching staff on your successful season. Job well done, and good luck to the graduating seniors as they move on to college. Please join me in recognizing this significant achievement. Sincerely, move to receive and file.
Second. Is there a discussion on the motion? Is there further discussion on the motion? Congratulations. I didn't go to St. Ed's, but we're proud that is one of the best and finest institutions in the city of Lakewood. You guys did a great job. On the motion that's on the floor, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes. Gentlemen, come on down. We'd love to get a picture. Council, before you go down, I'm going to have the clerk read the resolution first.
Item 23, Resolution 879715, a resolution to honor the 2014 St. Edward High School football team for earning Ohio State Championship.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
And here we come now. That motion passes.
Are we good here? Let's take the picture now. We're going to stand behind him, and you're not going to be able to pick this up. Kevin, come on up.
Kevin,
You know you're part of the legacy. Come on up here. Congratulations. Thank you very much. You're a TV wrestling team, right? Those guys.
Hey, everyone, you look up here, you can't see Councilwoman Marks. Councilwoman Marks, maybe if you want to come to the front. Okay, there we go. I'll do the best I can here. On count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Want to take another one? 1, 2, 3. And one more here. 1, 2, 3.
Good luck voting. Thanks for being here, appreciate it. Next year, right? 2 people. Okay, thanks.
Without objection from my colleagues, I'd like to have the clerk begin with item 20, or continue rather with item 20.
Item 20, communication from Councilmember Bullock and Anderson regarding commending Scott Duenas and Cornucopia Nature's Band for 3 decades of service.
Move to receive and file the communication. Yes, please.
Point of order, would it be okay if Mr. Anderson were to read the
Yes.
communication?
Please.
Thank you. I appreciate being recognized for this opportunity. I want to thank Councilmember Bullock for really doing most of the legwork on this. Appreciate that. Dear members of council, for decades, Nature's Been has been an anchor institution in Lakewood, serving our community in at least 2 ways: by providing vocational training and work experience to people with disabilities, provide staffing at the store, and by providing healthy, organic, high-quality food as an option for all right in our backyard. For nearly 30 years, or for 30 years, this wonderful grocery store and training center has been led by Scott Duenas, who worked diligently to grow the store into the success we see today. Founded in 1975, Cornucopia provides community-based employment training for people with disabilities through the Cornucopia Vocational Training Center and its own natural foods market, Nature's Been, both in Lakewood, Ohio, and at 5 other community-based training sites in Cuyahoga County. Cornucopia offers unique real-world training programs for people with disabilities. Its mission is to help people with disabilities develop skills and confidence leading to sustainable employment. We also recognize tonight Ms. Nancy Pepper, the next Executive Director for Cornucopia Nature's Been. Please join us tonight in honoring Mr. Duenas for his profound contribution to our community. Mr. Duenas has developed Nature's Been into a thriving hometown treasure while creating a compassionate workplace that provides both opportunity and practical skills to thousands of our neighbors with disabilities. What a worthwhile legacy to look upon after 30 years, and what an example he provides to us all. Sincerely, yours truly, thank you very much. I move for this communication to be received and filed. Second.
On the motion and second, is there further discussion?
I'll just add my own personal point. Unfortunately for me, Scott, your store is like right on my kids biking back from Horace Mann route, so I know when they prime me for $1 or $1.50 every day for the ride back, I know exactly where they're going to spend it. So I appreciate you guys being there and be welcoming to customers of all shapes and sizes. But just again, a great legacy, a lot to live up to, a lot to live up for. So thank you very much.
I grew up in Bay Village, and I do remember when the store opened and what a draw it was. And it was probably one of the first reasons that a lot of people actually got out of Bay Village to go into Lakewood to go grocery shopping, because at that time we had 2 grocery stores and a lot of delis. But it was a very big deal when it opened, and it's a big deal today. And thank you for all you did, because I know you put a lot of your own heart and soul into it, and it shows all the time, particularly with the most recent expansion. And Nancy, we know you know Lakewood, we know you love Lakewood, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you both.
Madam Chair.
Any further discussion? Councilman Bullock.
I'll just briefly add, this is a real innovation for our community. Before the buzzwords triple bottom line were known, Nature's Bin was practicing not only good business, but environmental and naturally sensitive business and socially responsible business. And that's starting happily to spread in the marketplace, in the business world. But all the way back to 1975, we were doing it in Lakewood, and I love that. And I know that there's so much innovation in our community, and a lot of times it's not in City Hall, it's out in our businesses, it's out in our nonprofits, and it's in our community. So thank you to all of you.
Some would say it's hardly ever in City Hall, it's always out in the neighborhoods. And it's true, it makes us distinct. Any further comments? Well, on the motion on the floor, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And that motion passes. We'll vote on the resolution.
Item 21, Resolution 879615, a resolution commending Scott Duenas on his retirement from cornucopia at Nature's Bin.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And on that motion, is there further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion passes. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Anderson.
I'd love to invite Scott up to the podium. Just give us a couple of words of what most is going through your mind tonight, and major plans for the future. Love to know. So thank you for being here tonight. It's all yours.
I have no plans for the future. I'm sure those things will come my way. But I do want to make a point that I've been cleaning out files that are 40 years old. And it's a miracle that this organization has survived through our trials and tribulations in the early 70s and early 80s. And building the store on Stone Avenue in 1991, it really was the collaboration of this community, and those administrations, frankly, all the past 5 administrations. I walked past all the pictures of all the mayors, including our current mayor. We couldn't have done it without that cooperation. And for those folks to understand what we were trying to do, because nobody knew what a social enterprise was in those days. Now it's all the buzz. We've been very fortunate to be in this community. And I take pride in having over probably a dozen publications, nationwide publications, give us time and space in their magazines. And, you know, it's Nature's Bin, but it was located in Lakewood, Ohio. Amen to that. Thank you very much. Nancy just comes to us with 25 years' experience in social services as the new executive director. My job, the wisdom of the board, is to hire someone who runs the retail shop, and Nancy will oversee the organization. Looking forward to that and their success. And I'm working till Friday. She started on Monday, so we're doing a transitional thing. And that's going very well. And 4 days left. Then I'm going to Florida for 2 weeks to house sit for somebody. At least make a joy. But thank you very much. It's been great working in this city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Picture time for you as well. We're not coming to solve. Florida, you have to
relatively painless. All right.
The clerk's convention.
Without objection from my colleagues, I'm going to ask the clerk to read item 19.
Item 19, Lakewood Beautiful Board Awards presentation.
For the presentation for the Keep Lakewood Beautiful Awards, Mrs. Trent.
Good evening. I'm Ruth Gillette, and on behalf of the Keep Lakewood Beautiful Board, we want to thank you, Council and Administration, for permitting the board to present the Beautiful Home Award ceremony at tonight's council meeting. Keep Lakewood Beautiful Board's mission, in part, is to support efforts that enhance the natural beauty of our city. Other activities include managing the Adopt a Spot program, which relies on over 80 community volunteers to plant and maintain landscaping on public property throughout the city. KLB also sponsors an annual Earth Day cleanup event, and this year it will be on Saturday, April the 26th, I believe at Kaufman Park. And we also have a spring humus sale to raise funds to support the activities of KLB. But tonight, we are here to celebrate and thank the winners of the annual Beautiful Home Award. The purpose of the Beautiful Home Awards is threefold. First, to raise community awareness about the care and pride that our residents take in their properties. Secondly, to identify and acknowledge the best efforts of homeowners. And three, to encourage other residents to discover the fun and rewards of home landscaping. The homes were nominated through an open community process that was advertised in the Lakewood Observer. It was shared on the city water bills. And for the first time in 2014, the KLB participated in the 4th of July parade. You may remember a tree in that parade. Anyway, the nominations were judged by the KLB board members and celebrity judges, including Councilwoman Cindy Marks and professional landscaper Paul Billick, who runs the Lakewood Garden Center. Mayor Summers has graciously agreed to assist in the award ceremony. Each winner will be introduced, and Mayor Summers will present their award. In the interest of time, we're asking that people hold their applause until all the winners are announced. We're asking the winners to come up and remain standing with the mayor, and then at the end, we'll give everyone a round of applause. To help in the award process, Tom Ziegman will come up and announce the winners.
Thank you, Ruth. It's truly an honor when you consider there are approximately, Mayor Summers, 11,000 to 12,000 residences in the city of Lakewood.
13,000.
13,000.
Well, 1 and 2 families.
Okay. And it's truly amazing to see how houses are maintained and improved. And if you own an old Lakewood house, you know it's a big chore to do. I also want to, I'm a member of KLB board, and I want to thank council, appreciate the support of our council since we're a commission of the Lakewood City Council. When I call your name, please come and get the plaque and remain up here. We're going to show you a little picture, a little description of their houses. I don't know if he's here tonight, but Michael Koski, is he here? Okay, 1448 Alameda, and it's just up the street from City Hall. Mr. Koski purchased this home at 2010 at the tender age of 26, choosing Lakewood for many reasons, including affordability, proximity to downtown, and the quality of restaurants and bars. Mr. Koski has invested significantly in both the inside and outside of 1448, renovating an existing kitchen and bath, adding a new full bath, exterior carpentry repair, new roof, and painting. Landscaping has included a completely new lawn, landscaping beds, a patio, and plantings. The gardener's advice to the rest of us is don't overcrowd your beds. Keep it simple and clean. Truly words to live by. Congratulations, Mr. Costa. Okay, I think our second recipient is here, Patty Bernardo. Up front, please. This is Patty's house on 1618 Blossom Park. Mrs. Bernardo purchased her home in 2009, wanting to be near Lake Erie. She soon realized that, quote, Lakewood was a wonderful place to live with everything at your fingertips. Patty is working on her home, making little upgrades as she goes along. Ms. Bernardo's advice to gardeners is to walk through your neighborhood and see what other neighbors have done in their beds. Once I asked a man what color he painted his house, he would tell me, but so I do the same thing. Notice the beautiful yards and landscape. Gather information and ideas to help plan your own version of curb appeal. Clearly, this is good advice because Patty's home has been noticed for her beautiful yard and landscaping. Congratulations. Next recipient is Joe and Nadine Dwyer. They live on 1370 Webb, which is kind of my old hood. After looking at over 20 homes, the Dwyers settled on 1370 in 1987. They love old homes and found one of the oldest homes of Lakewood. And this is where my mistake was. According to Mr. Dwyer, the home was built in 1861. Yes, 1861. First being located in Detroit Avenue and some point being moved to Webb. I thought I was one of the older guys here. One day, while working in their yard, two men stopped and gave them pictures of the house from the 1920s. The men had grown up in the home and provided a lot of interesting information about its past. The Dwyers have done much work on their property, inside and out. Their gardening approach is very free-spirited and natural. Joe's advice is to pair the size and scale of the landscaping to the size and scale of the home, and to give plants room to grow. Congratulations. The next recipients are the Maloney family. Please come up. 171305, as they described to me, that's actually, the Malius bought their home in 2008. It was in a sorry state at that time, to the extent that they did not move into the house in 2009. And Mr. Mallius was telling me that someone, before they just moved in there, had rifled all the plumbing. So, but he hadn't signed the agreement yet. That's key. Mr. Mallius described all the work that he has done and continues to do as a labor of love. It is an owner-occupied two-family, with Mr. Mallius' brother living in one of the suites. I thought Mr. Mallius' gardening advice was very down to earth. He said that for good gardens, you have to be prepared to do a lot of digging. Very true. Congratulations. Next, Jesse and Dave Jacobson. Congratulations. Okay, the Jacobsons moved to Mars, not the planet, moved to Mars, I had to say that, in 1998, attracted to Lakewood by its lively urban setting and proximity to downtown. I think we've heard that before. They appreciate the craftsmanship of Lakewood homes, built-in cabinets, leaded glass windows, and the scale of the homes, elements unable to be found in current home building. Jesse and David made significant improvements to their home, including extensive preparation for painting the exterior, doing a complete remodeling of the kitchen, and doing a complete remodeling of the kitchen. Dave was telling me how he stripped that whole house himself outside with a heat gun, 3 heat guns. That's amazing. The Jacobsons enjoyed gardening together. Their advice is to consider gardening a hobby, not a chore, and to make improvements incrementally so as not to exhaust yourself or your wallet. Congratulations. Last but not least, Jean Finland. Jean lives in my neighborhood, 1063 Rosalie. Jean moved into her beautiful home in 1985, 30 years ago, and has raised 2 children, Megan and Tim. Similar to all the beautiful home honorees, Jean loves her home, especially as a gathering place for family and friends, enjoying the patio and the fireplace together depending on the season. Jean researched the history of the home and discovered that Margaret Manor Butler, the founder of the Lakewood Historical Society, lived there for a time. And Margaret wrote the landmark Lakewood story, if you remember that. If you're too young, look it up in the library. Jean's landscaping advice is straightforward. She says, plant what you love. Be sure to understand how much sunlight and water is needed, and plant things that will bloom at different times from early spring to late fall. Let's give all the winners a round of applause. As a community, we will continue to enjoy the efforts this summer and for many summers to come. Now, I also want to bring your attention to the banner in the back, and as Ruth alluded to, she was the tree, and we would like in the parade, and that was a great act. But we'd like you to consider nominating a Lakewood home for 2015. And how do you do that? Well, that tweet's beyond me, but tweet the KLB website, call city, call the mayor, write it in, call the council. But we also have our website there, there on the banner, and we want nominations from the whole community. And our KLB board does a arduous task of going around observing these homes and looking at them. It's really hard to decide, I want to tell you. One time I looked at about, I think, 150 homes, and I narrowed it down to like 50 that I had to decide. But we have a great community, and I'm very proud to be on this board, and thank council for the commission. This concludes the awards assembly, and at this time, Mayor Summers, and thank you, council, for hosting the event. Mayor Summers, give me a comment.
Thank you. Special thanks to the leadership of Keep Lakewood Beautiful. All of you who are on Keep Lakewood Beautiful, would you kindly stand? We can recognize your leadership. Lisa, Ruth. They and their colleagues work very hard throughout the year on a variety of projects, of which this is just one. And clearly they make an enormous visual impact on the betterment of Lakewood. I would like to congratulate the winners of this year. I think it's just needs to be underscored, the leadership you provide in your neighborhood. You show a sense of creative possibility to your neighbors. You show a sense of dedication of what it means and what it takes. You show the way for others like you all over Lakewood to follow your footsteps. And without that visual reminder of what we can experience and achieve with our homes, we would be in far worse shape. So I thank you for your inspiration and dedication. And likewise, to Keep Lakewood Beautiful for their continued inspiration as well.
Wow, that's nice.
Very good.
Congratulations, everybody. How exciting. Thank you. Enjoy
If you can resend that.
Send my love to everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks. Keep Lakewood beautiful. Thank you, Betty. Madam Clerk, back to item number 1.
Item 1, Committee of the Whole report regarding March 5th, 9th, 12th, and 16th, 2015 committee meetings addressing letter of intent submitted to Lakewood City Council by the Lakewood Hospital Association, the Lakewood Hospital Foundation, and the Cleveland Clinic.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Today, council had committee of the whole, and we went into executive session, keeping with us a number of the directors and the assistant clerk to discuss the purchase of real property and to consider the sale of real property by competitive bid in order to avoid providing a competitive advantage to any one person. The executive session lasted approximately 55 minutes, and we concluded. We then did an agenda review, and that was it. So I move to receive and file that communication,
Second.
that oral communication. Motion and a second. Is there conversation or discussion on that particular motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes. On the items on the committee of the whole reports for March 5th, 9th, and 12th, move to defer.
Second.
Is there discussion on those? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 2, Finance Committee report regarding March 9, 2015 meeting.
Councilman Nolan, as we all know, is excused from tonight's council meeting. I will go ahead and read his report. Dear members of council, the Finance Committee met on March 9, 2015 to discuss proposed ordinances 515, 615, 715, 815, 915, 1015, and 1115. All members of the committee were present, as well as Finance Director Hay, Jeff Rink, Brian Sharnsky of KeyBank, and Catherine Swartz of Bricker and Eckler. Proposed ordinance 515 authorizes the transfer and advance of certain funds. It reflects 25% of the total anticipated transfer and transfer between funds that were included in within the 2015 appropriation. It also includes $273,000 that was advanced from the general fund at the end of 2014 to 4 separate funds that needed the advance in order to keep those funds in the black. After discussion, the committee unanimously recommended that council adopt proposed ordinance 515 on its third reading on March 16, 2015, tonight. The remaining proposed ordinances all relate to the issuance of bond anticipation notes. Proposed ordinance 615 deals with renewal of notes which pertain to capital improvements made in years 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. Proposed ordinance 715 issues debt to pay for the West End Sewer Separation Project. Proposed ordinance 815 issues debt to pay for streets resurfacing program. Proposed ordinance 915 issues debt to pay for various park improvements. Proposed ordinance 1015 issues debt to pay for the sidewalk program, and that debt will be used to finance city-managed repairs until it can collect the costs from residents. And finally, 1115 issues debt for roof improvements for various city facilities. Mr. Rink walked the committee through our bond issuing process, including a discussion of interest rates, some background on the structure of bond anticipation notes, and the schedule for the bond issuance. After those discussions, the committee unanimously recommended that council adopt those proposed ordinances, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1115 on their third reading tonight, March 16, 2015. Respectfully submitted, Ryan Nolan, Chair, Finance Committee. I move to receive and file that written communication.
Second.
And with a second, is there any discussion on Councilman Nolan's communication? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 3, ordinance 515, an ordinance authorizing the transfer in advance of certain funds placed on first reading and referred to the Finance Committee, 21715, second reading 3215.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? Then all those in favor?
Aye.
And that motion passes.
Item 4, ordinance 615, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of notes in the amount of not to exceed $12,027,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bond to pay costs of renewal of 2011, 12, 13, 14 various purpose general obligation bond anticipation notes placed on first reading, referred to Finance Committee, 21715, second reading 3215.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 5, ordinance 715, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of notes in the amount of not to exceed $2 million in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to pay costs of West End Sewer Separation Project together with all necessary appurtenances thereto, placed on first reading and referred to the Finance Committee, 21715, second reading 3215.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye. All those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 6, ordinance 815, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of notes in the amount of not to exceed $1,500,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to pay the cost of resurfacing of various streets.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the ayes have it.
Item 7, ordinance 915, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of notes in the amount of not to exceed $950,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to pay the cost of improving parks within the city, including Lakewood Park, together with all necessary appurtenances thereto, placed on first reading, and referred to the Finance Committee, 21715, second reading 3215.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Those, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 8, ordinance 1015, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of notes in the amount of not to exceed $650,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to pay costs of improving sidewalks within the city, placed on first reading and referred to the Finance Committee 2/17/15, second reading 3/2/15.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 9, ordinance 1115, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of notes in the amount of not to exceed $250,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to pay the costs of replacing or improving the roofs of City Hall Annex, Winterhurst Ice Rink, and the city's service garage, placed on first reading, and referred to the Finance Committee 2/17/15, second reading 3/2/15.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 10, Public Works Committee report regarding 2/2/15 reading, ordinance 5814.
Councilman Juris.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first of the two communications here is from the Public Works Committee meeting on February 2nd. Again, the topic was the proposed ordinance 5814, which would amend section 33108 regarding marked lanes. After lengthy discussion on the history of the Clifton Avenue project and some conversation regarding the implications and details surrounding it, the committee unanimously voted to defer the item until such time that the signage is brought back into a more favorable situation, at least. Move to receive and file.
A second on the motion to receive and file the communication. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 11, Public Works Committee report regarding March 5th, 15 meeting, Resolution 879415, ordinances 415 and 1215, and pavement condition report.
Councilman Juris.
Dear members of council, the March 5th meeting of the Public Works Committee began at 6:30. Present were committee members Bullock, O'Leary, and myself, as well as Councilmember Marks, Director Benno, Pay, and Lou McMahon. It was a lengthy Public Works meeting. We discussed a number of items, beginning first with the proposed ordinance 415. We began first with the resolution 879415, which is the pilot study, which will evaluate the possibility of source control on 100 homes in Lakewood, and is tied to our EPA permit. After lengthy technical discussion on sewer separation and engaging topics like that, the committee unanimously approved recommendation of adoption by the full council. Second, we discussed proposed ordinance 415, which would amend the ordinance for sidewalk repairs. The impact of this change was identified to be a removal of the requirement to provide a sketch of the area of the sidewalk that has been identified as non-compliant. Again, after some discussion with Director Benno regarding the process and timeliness involved in these corrections, the committee voted unanimously to recommend adoption of full council. Next, we discussed the proposed ordinance of 1215, which is related to the group that came in here earlier tonight, Lakewood Beautiful. That item was deferred to allow input from the law department as well as members of that committee. Finally, the committee had a lengthy discussion on the pavement condition report. This involved a review of the map which illustrates the current conditions of our streets, a progress report of the rate at which improvements are being made, and financial factors to be considered, with a few of the choices that have been historically made regarding things like paving streets entirely in cement and versus some other decisions that have made over the course of history here. The map and the full database has been shared with council and is available for review. No legislative action was needed on that. It was basically just a review within the Public Works Committee. Move to receive and file.
Second.
On the motion and the second, is there discussion?
Madam Chair?
Is that Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Yes, Councilman Anderson.
Thank you. I appreciate the report from our council colleague, and I also appreciate the fact that he was able to touch on the issue of curbs and policies as far as replacing curbs versus, just letting it be. I was on the street last year that we had some spot curb replacement. Not sure how long those are going to last when you're trying to cure previously established concrete with new concrete, but it seems to have held up over the winter, and look forward to that. But I know that's been a priority, somewhat of a priority of council. We've mentioned it over the years. How do we make the curbs have a bit more curb appeal? So I appreciate that being part of the conversation a couple of weeks ago. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Bullock?
Firstly, thank you to our colleague, Mr. Juris, who is very consistent year to year in reviewing this very important topic of what the current year's paving project will be and how that adds up or doesn't add up to quality pavement citywide over the course of time. I'm happy to say it does add up to quality pavement over time. I want to compliment the very helpful map the administration put together. And for those who haven't joined the Twitter feed of City Hall, let me direct you to the man behind the camera, who I believe runs the Twitter feed, Colin McEwen. He puts out very useful information all the time. Thanks to Mayor Summers for setting that in motion, including a live interactive map of what projects are currently underway, and there's pop-up information. So for example, when you don't know why there's orange cones at Summit Avenue, you can pop it right up on your phone if you have a smartphone and find out it's a water line replacement. Very helpful, and just that much more transparency for City Hall, so I appreciate that. Thanks.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 12, Resolution 879415, a resolution establishing a pilot program in western Lakewood to remove clean water sources from the city's sanitary sewer system in the furtherance of the city's permitting under the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency. Contracts for professional services for the pilot program and advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the purchase of repair, maintenance, and operating supplies, services, and equipment for the pilot program with the lowest and best bidder or bidders, or as otherwise provided by law, in an amount not to exceed $900,000, declaring a nuisance and identifying resident payment options under the pilot program. First reading and refer to the Public Works Committee 2/17/15, second reading 3/15.
Move to adopt. There's a motion made, seconded, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 13, Ordinance 415, an ordinance to amend Section 903.10, duty to repair and maintain sidewalks of the codified ordinances of the city, to remove the requirement that a sidewalk survey be included with the notice of repair, placed on first reading and referred to the Public Works Committee 2/2/15, second 2/17/15.
Move to adopt.
Second.
On the motion, it's been made and seconded, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 14, communication from Planning and Development Director Siley regarding construction of high school and Lincoln Elementary rezoning.
Director Siley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Direct council's attention to my correspondence. This is related to the rezoning of 4 parcels, 2 with Lincoln Elementary, 2 with the high school. Referred to Planning Commission. The Commission held 2 hearings and in March recommended adoption. I ask that you refer this to committee so we can go through that recommendation in detail. Thank you.
Move to receive and file the communication from Director Siley.
Second.
On the motion, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 15, Ordinance 115, an ordinance to amend Section 110502 of the zoning code of the codified ordinances by changing and revising the zoning map of the city with respect to certain property as set forth and described as 1207 Summit Avenue, 1206 Lakewood Avenue, 1600 Robinwood Avenue, and 1604 Robinwood Avenue, from single-family high-density to commercial public school. Placed on first reading, referred to the Planning Commission 1/5/15.
Move to place on first reading before committee of the whole.
Second.
On that motion, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 16, Ordinance 1315, an ordinance amending Chapter 143, City Records Commission of the Codified Ordinances in order to update the code regulating the composition and duties of the commission, placed on first reading and referred to the Rules and Ordinances Committee 3/2/15.
Move to place on second.
Move to place on second reading. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 17, liquor permit application for Bevy and Birdtown 12112 Madison Avenue.
Councilman Bullock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have received the report on this liquor permit application, and the administration has found, the police review and the law department review has found no reason to object, but I defer to the Ward 4 council person, who is yourself, on this matter.
Thank you, Councilman Bullock. I have been in touch with the community policing officer, with Mike Fritsch, and I'll talk to the owner, and I have no objection. Happy to have him in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Therefore, I move to file with no objection.
Second, on that motion, is there a discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 18, liquor permit application for D5, D6 to Citizens Eatery, 14600 Detroit Avenue, from Painter, same address.
Councilman Bullock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, we do have liquor permit investigation from the police and law departments returned to us, and once again, we found no reason to object. I find no reason to object, but I defer to the Ward 2 Councilman, Mr. Overwood.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. No reason to object.
Thank you. So I move to file with no objection.
Second, on the discussion, on the motion made and seconded, is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 24, communication from Finance Director Pay regarding amending purchasing and contracting ordinance for fiscal year 2015.
Director Pay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The attached correspondence is an amended ordinance to increase contracting authority in the amount of $176,500 in various areas of the contracting authority ordinance. Please refer to the Finance Committee for further discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Pay. Move to receive and file Director Pay's communication.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 25, ordinance 4314A, and ordinance amending ordinance 4314, adopted December 15, 2014, to enter into contracts for professional services and to advertise for bid and enter into contracts for the purchase of repair, maintenance, and operating supplies, services, and equipment as authorized by the 2015 appropriation ordinance and the administrative code of the city with the lowest and best bidder or bidders as otherwise provided by law.
Move to place on first reading and refer to finance.
Second.
Is there discussion on the first and the second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 26, communication from Police Chief Malley regarding $8,000 grant award from Edward Byrne Memorial Grant.
Chief now.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Madam President. Dear members of council, pursuant to the LCO, I'm notifying you of acceptance of funds. The Lakewood Police Department has been awarded a grant for $8,000 in the Edward Byrne Memorial Grant to the Federal Bureau of Justice Assistance and the Ohio Justice Services Office. This grant is for the use of overtime hours to continue to operate the special assignment car during the summer months. The special assignment car runs from April to September by assigning off-duty officers to patrol our city parks on a nightly basis. We are required to post a matching amount of $888.89. Request passage of the resolution tonight, so it's a short turnaround on the application. Consider it.
Move to receive and file the chief's communication.
Second.
On the motion and second, is there discussion? And we'll start. I suppose this question will come up. Chief Malley or Director Pay, where is the $889.89 coming from?
It comes from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 27, Resolution 879815, a resolution to enter into an agreement to accept a grant from the Federal Bureau of Justice Services through the Ohio Criminal Justice Services Office in the amount of $8,000 and requiring the match of the City of Lakewood in the amount of $888.89.
Move to adopt.
Second.
On the motion to adopt, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 28, communication from Planning and Development Director Siley regarding 14823 Lake Avenue and 14818 Clifton Boulevard rezoning.
Director Siley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, direct council's attention to my correspondence. This is related to two properties, 14823 Lake Avenue and 14818 Clifton Boulevard. They abut. They're along Cook Avenue. This is a similar situation to what council approved about a year ago related to Luso Cosmetics with the driveway, that we carved off a portion of the driveway to help facilitate parking and ingress, egress for an adjacent property. Similar situation in this case, necessitating rezoning that driveway for some parking. We just ask this be referred to Planning Commission for a review recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Move to receive and file the director's communication.
Second?
Is there discussion? Director Selly, are those neighbors all in agreement in this?
It's the same owner for both properties.
Oh, there you go.
So yes.
I would hope so. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 29, ordinance 1415, an ordinance amending section 110502 of the zoning code of the codified ordinances of the city by changing and revising the zoning map of the city with respect to certain property as set forth and described as a portion of 14823 Lake Avenue from single-family high density to single and two-family.
Move to place on first reading and refer it to the Planning Commission.
Second?
On that motion, is there discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 30, communication from Planning and Development Director Simon regarding zoning code, roof height, and setback updates.
Director Siley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Council, again, the correspondence covers most of the detail. This is a result of some good work by the Vice Chair of our Board of Zoning Appeals, Kyle Cruzen, who, as part of a graduate class he was in, did an analysis of variances that we were reviewing. And in an effort to streamline our code and become more efficient and customer-friendly, found two variances that were consistently requested by residents related to roof heights for garages and air conditioner setbacks. It seemed by the frequency of these requests that maybe there was a need for an adjustment in our code. So we asked that that be referred to Planning Commission for a review, a detailed review and recommendation. So thank you.
Thank you. Move to receive and file the director's communication.
Second?
On that motion, is there any discussion? Director Siley, community, this is yet one more example of how fortunate we are to have smart, caring people volunteering for us on these boards and commissions. This is
Good stuff.
probably, it's good stuff and probably worth a lot of consulting fees. Is there further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 31, ordinance 1515, an ordinance amending section 112107, minimum yard requirements for principal buildings, 112307, minimum yard requirements for principal buildings, and 112707, minimum yard requirements for principal buildings of the codified ordinances of the city to adjust the necessary variance required for air conditioning units located in a side yard.
Move to place on first reading and refer to Planning Commission.
Second?
Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 32, ordinance 1615, an ordinance to amend section 110302 definitions and 113307 measurement of building height of codified ordinances of the city to further define roof height within the code.
Move to place on first reading and refer to the Planning Commission.
Second?
Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 33, communication from Planning and Development Director Siley regarding zoning code changes to outdoor dining regulations.
Director Siley.
Last round. Again, the correspondence has the detail. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a result of some recommendations from our Planning Commission and lessons learned over the past 4 or so years. We revised the outdoor dining ordinance in 2010 to allow for sidewalk dining in the public way and also have a more flexible code. It's been a vital part of our thriving restaurant community, and these adjustments reflect some of those lessons learned over the past 4 years. Planning Commission held a number of public hearings and made a recommendation last month, and I asked that we refer this to committee so we can go through those deliberations and that recommendation in detail. So thank you.
Thank you. Move to receive and file the communication from Director Siley.
Second?
Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 34, ordinance 1715, an ordinance amending section 116103T, supplemental regulations for specific uses of the codified ordinances of the city to allow outdoor dining year-round where the patio is located fully on private property.
Move to place on first reading and refer this to Committee of the Whole, as this is an issue that concerns all of us.
Second?
On that motion, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 35, communication from Law Director Butler regarding resolution permitting the formulation of a design build project delivery system for two 2015 public works projects.
Director Butler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. State code changed in 2012, permitted municipalities like Lakewood to adopt a project delivery method called design build. Typically, public works projects are let out in the form of design bid build contracts, which means that a project is first designed by a professional, then that designed project is bid to construction firms, and the winning bidder gets the work and then builds the project. The design build method could be a significantly streamlined process and makes a lot of sense in more complicated construction matters where the design occasionally must change throughout the course of the project itself as issues with the design are uncovered as the project moves forward. And so what the design build method does is it consolidates the designer and the construction contractor under one contract. The legislation that follows this communication permits the city to design a contracting methodology so that we can employ the services of a design-build contractor for two 2015 public works projects. The first relates to digester upgrades in electric power generation down at the wastewater treatment plant. The second, which Joe can explain in committee. And the second involves the work that's to be done under the Clean Water Pilot Project in western Lakewood that was approved this evening. With your permission, after approval of this resolution, we'd like to enter into the process of designing this contracting methodology in order that we hire eventually firms to do the design build work for those two particular projects. Ultimately, council would have the final authority on approving the contract with those firms, but this legislation permits us to design that contracting methodology, notwithstanding what our ordinance is, which follow the traditional design bid build methodology provide. So we ask for your careful consideration in committee. Thanks.
Thank you. Move to receive and file the communication.
Second.
On the motion to receive and file, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 36, Resolution 879915, a resolution to establish procedures for and engage in the process of letting of one or more contracts with one or more qualified entities for design and construction of digester upgrades and an electrical generation system at the wastewater treatment plant without the necessity of competitive bidding and exempting the city from certain provisions of the Ohio Revised Code related to design-build contracting for the purpose of this project.
This is a very important consideration to be made as it involves a public bidding process. It is a resolution, but I'm moving this to, move to place this before the Public Works Committee.
Second.
On the motion and the second, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 37, Resolution 880015, a resolution to establish procedures for and engage in the process of letting of one or more contracts with one or more qualified entities for design and construction of corrections to the sewer system under the Western Lakewood Clean Water Pilot Project without the necessity of competitive bidding and exempting the city from certain provisions with the Ohio Revised Code related to design-build contracting for the purpose of this project.
Again, important deliberations should be had. I plan to move this, moving to place this before Public Works Committee.
Second.
On the motion and the second, is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 38, communication from Fire Chief Gilman regarding severe weather awareness week.
Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear members of council, attached, please find the resolution for your consideration proclaiming March 29th to April 4th, 2015 as Severe Weather Awareness Week. This is Lakewood's opportunity to join the statewide tornado drill in an effort to test the emergency alert system and other components of emergency management. In addition to community awareness, planning for such threats as tornadoes can result in the saving of lives and the prevention of injury. The Lakewood Fire Department has agreed to work with Lakewood City Schools and postpone this year's drill to March 31st, 2015. The school system will be conducting very important standardized testing and requested a postponement. Thank you for consideration.
Move to receive and file the communication.
Second.
Right, a second. All those in favor? First, is there any discussion on the motion to receive and file the communication? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Item 39, Resolution 880115, a resolution proclaiming March 29th through April 4th, 2015, Severe Weather Awareness Week.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes. Thank you, Chief Gilman and Lakewood Fire. Is there anyone who signed up for public comment? No one. Are there any announcements from the administration?
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
And right back to you, Mayor. Any further announcements? Are there any announcements from council? Hearing none, move to adjourn. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.